guys, this is Hannah Kaufman from Three Cissies and a Girl, the podcast where three cisgender white dudes from Gen X, Garrett Krudoff, Terry Nelson, and Robin White, try to sell me on all of these old school ideas, and I try to bring them into the 21st century. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy the show.
Now this turns into a very special episode of Terry's a fucking idiot.
No, I don't get it. I just said that happens. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are blind to it. It's fine. It's fine. You want to shield yourself.
So this episode means a TW.
What? What are you talking about?
In jiu-jitsu at my gym, there's a few single girls up there.
Dude, I feel like the last thing I need is for a girl that can kick my ass.
Get to kick their ass back. It's a free-for-all.
There you go.
Have you ever looked at like what jiu-jitsu looks like from like a layperson perspective? You might really enjoy yourself.
Trust me, no one gets a boner doing jiu-jitsu. I've rolled with some really attractive girls, and the thought never crosses my mind because I'm like, you're trying to strangle me. I'm going to strangle you back.
That's.
But there's some cute single girls. There's some cute single girls up there that probably would like to be asked out on a date. We wear pajamas and try to strangle each other.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you've been looking at my window on the weekends? What's up, man?
Yeah, no, I don't go to naked.
That's how I do that. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. What'd you say?
I got one more week, and you'll probably be sitting in this chair, homie.
Now if you leave, we gotta find another Gen Xer. He's a Gen Z. That's never gonna work.
So that just it broke when you got it?
I don't know if it's just not a 4-channel.
4chan. I heard there's a lot of creepy stuff that goes on there.
There sure fucking is.
I don't deep dive into the internet like that.
I hate that someone introduced me to Reddit, and now I get these fucking Reddit notifications.
I don't do Reddit either.
Yeah, you shouldn't go down that hole.
I do.
Trust me.
You're
Instagram. Welcome. I do Instagram.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
I do Instagram, and
every time I get the depression meme notification.
I'm going to start sending you the one from Incel Tears because I fucking cackle like a brouhaha like every time I read that shit.
I do Instagram, but I'm probably going to switch that to private, and I'm about to delete Twitter.
How many of the booty models do you follow on Instagram? Just out of curiosity. I love that.
I really think I only follow like 2.
I can't read that. Does it say gum slut or gym slut?
C in front of it.
Sorry. What would gum slut be?
Put a C in front of gum.
I don't even want to. Don't answer that because I don't want to know.
I don't know.
That's like right up there with the booty loops thing that you just don't go down that road.
Booty what?
Booty loops. Yeah.
But
cereal.
All right, guys. Good podcast.
Totally different.
Let's beat it.
She did.
See y'all tomorrow, Wednesday.
Wait, you haven't even opened your notebook yet, so we can't start until you open your notebook because that is the cue related last week.
It's not my movie list.
But you have notes, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, so we got to open.
Guarantee that.
It is
actually such a hard podcaster. Get it longer. What the fuck that means? But
y'all are assholes. I'm not.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're the assholes. I apologize.
Hannah, why don't you?
Hannah Montana, let's do this.
Oh boy, keep calling me that. There's gonna be some trouble.
Let's get on top of it like a pedophile at the daycare. Come on, let's do this right here.
Whoa!
I'm just saying. What y'all talking about?
Gavelled 30 seconds in.
Jesus Christ.
What y'all trying to say? Is that bad?
You know, I've instinctively picked up my gavel because Terry's about to tell a story, and I'm already nervous. You know what it is? It's Terry trying to be funny because he knows that it's not right and he knows that it's problematic. So he's just like,
if she can have that, can I just have my 6-shooter and shoot it in the air every time I want to make a joke?
As long as it's a blank. I don't want you putting holes in my ceiling, but
Can we get him a crap gun like Yosemite Sam?
Oh, just get out.
I already have one of those at home. I have one of those at home. Get
your spurs on. Man, you be doing it.
You would make the greatest Yosemite Sam.
I have a friend of mine that's a blacksmith that can make spurs.
I have spurs.
He would be a good Yosemite Sam.
He would. Holy shit. Just roll it out? Oh, that'd be awesome, man. I'm just saying.
Does it pay? What's it pay? I'll fucking do it. I don't care.
Dude, there are movies that...
Wait, hang on. If there are any directors out there listening and you guys want to make a live action Looney Tunes, we have Yosemite Sam.
I'll do it. I'll do it for whatever.
Scale.
Take scale.
You know I don't know any of those terms.
10%.
Yeah.
No, because I don't have an agent, so it'd just be scale.
You keep that 10.
Oh, sweet. A little gas money.
And listen, we have spurs at home, so we could definitely lend you that.
Oh, yeah, I can get me some.
Where that's going. All right.
My sister's a horseback rider.
Oh, I got you.
That's
you.
true.
Okay,
That's right.
I didn't know if it came with the handcuffs. I didn't know how that worked.
I mean, that's your thing, not mine.
No, mine really can't. I've been in too many handcuffs. Not in the fun way. So let's just
a bathrobe belt. Yeah. Those make really good love tie downs.
They're soft. They're
velvety and soft.
Cause abrasions.
No,
that's true.
So Hannah, why don't you introduce our movie this week?
Never mind. I'm gonna go say that.
Oh no! What were you going to say? If you let it slip.
I'm gonna go back to reading my book if we don't.
I'm talking about depressed people, and it's gonna be like, oh, he's talking about.
Yeah, don't go that road, man. Look, I'm not depressed today.
Good.
I battled
today.
Good
today.
But we're good. We're good today. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm manic today, so
I guess I am too.
We're good.
I don't know what happened.
All right.
If anybody out there has some Xanax prescription that would like to bring it by so I could snort about 7 of them before dealing with y'all.
Listen, I walked to the ER and
don't abuse drugs, kids. That's a joke.
I've been working. He comes in. I walk in and he looks at me and goes, "When you get off?" I said, "When you get me a prostitute."
I think that's a legal
sex
term.
Sex worker.
Oh God, sex worker.
Fuck's sake.
Learned this last week, but that's not the prostitution is the oldest.
There's an inherent issue with prostitution in that there's coercion involved. Sex workers,
here's money. I coerce you with money.
But there's consent with sex workers. That doesn't happen with prostitution.
It's a contract.
Right.
That's what you're trying to tell
it's a fucking sex worker and not a prostitute.
Prostitute's the same thing.
On with the show.
On with the goddamn show.
And all that's going to be edited out. Thank God. Let's do this.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So
people wanted to get to know us.
Maybe the Xanax.
That was their first mistake.
Maybe the Xanax part.
The Xanax part.
Hannah doesn't whip the gavel at my rampant drug abuse, but no, let's whip the gavel at prostitution.
Because there's not a problem with consensual drug abuse.
That's right. Yeah. I can just. Well, also, I'm a guy. Guys, they're evil. We're all evil.
We are.
So there's probably the 40 of the 45 downloads are probably like, yeah, that guy can go.
They understand. People understand that, like, we joke around and we do things and we talk about stuff, but they know it's about intent. And you can be an asshole all you want, but we know where your heart is. Asshole. Yeah.
Same thing about assault and battery. Intent is a big thing. Like you can have being.
Where are you going with this?
Anyway,
big
never
guy?
mind. Let's go. Never mind.
It goes back to why he was in handcuffs.
Can't Buy Me Love, 1987.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, here we go. We can shut up Terry long enough for Hannah to. You know what? We keep talking over the woman, so we all need to shut up.
Oh my God.
Hey, look at that.
I talk over everyone, so it's equal.
That I know.
Every woman, or would you?
Fuck you, Garrett.
I only try to tell my story 5 times.
Can't Buy Me Love.
I told you.
Nipples, so I thought you would be interested.
I have a whole book of them right here.
Whole book of nipples?
Yeah, right here. The little book of big breasts.
No, not right now. You need to be focused.
I have to read it.
Your head's up.
It's art.
Okay, here we go.
It's art.
Hannah,
all right.
For real this time.
This time with feeling. Can't Buy Me Love, 1987, was originally rated PG-13. It runs for an hour and 34 minutes. It got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Sure did.
And by the way, was not SAG when it first actually started running, and the SAG union came into the high school and tried to dissuade all of the students from participating as background extras. They actually got the drama club to do it, but some of the actual students did sign on in the end.
Yeah, I saw that I thought it was funny that it was the drama department that did not sign on.
Man, I just realized Seth Green was Chucky Miller.
Yeah.
You just put that together?
I didn't even recognize him. I saw him and the kid was great. I just didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
Seth Green, young Patrick Dempsey. This was I think this was his second one because he was in, what was the
16 Candles?
No,
there was one called Loverboy, but that was after this, I think.
No. It was something like well made, but he was like a bit part in it. So this was like his first breakthrough role. Amanda Peterson, who was actually 16 at the time when Patrick Dempsey was 20. But they wanted Patrick Dempsey because he was relatively unknown at the time, and they wanted somebody who was going to be believable as this kind of unlovable nerd. And so they brought in Patrick Dempsey because nobody knew who he was at the time. And so he was believable as this nerd that nobody liked and, you know, was kind of on the fringes of society.
Ronnie.
So why don't you start us off with your thoughts of our two main characters?
So, you know, I mean, it's all of these movies are so stereotypical. Rom-coms in general have that really fine line to walk of being comedic and being entertaining, but also not being horribly stereotypical, which it's the 80s. You can't really take it out of context in that way. I think she as a character, you know, fits right in that 80s vein where she's very vain. She's that kind of cheerleader type. Oh, and by the way, I mean, the director for this did like a whole bunch of cheerleader movies. So it fit right in with everything else that he was doing. Cause he did like Bring It On Again and like all of this other like cheerleader kind of Americana high school, like almost kind of hebephilic, at least to me, that he keeps going back and doing these like kind of like high school cheerleader movies, but it is what it is, I guess, at this point. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying like it kind of is what it is. But I think, you know, the original title and, you know, the character of Ronnie, there's a certain level of like nice guy entitlement to him that's kind of irksome to me. And he kind of gets a little bit worse throughout the movie. And then he has his kind of redemption arc. She herself is kind of vain. And quite frankly, she aggravated me quite a bit, just with between her cadence and just how she is, because she's also very entitled. So it's just sort of two entitled people crashing into each other. Makes for an entertaining train wreck, but I mean, that's kind of my take on it. What did you think, Garrett?
So these are my thoughts on, first of all, when you talk about stereotypes, it's the funniest thing to me. They still do it in movies today. It's like you take this good looking guy or girl and you throw glasses on them and all of a sudden they're unattractive.
Yep.
It's just so funny to me. You think about,
well, I don't know. I haven't been out of high school for a while, but it was true when I was in high school. I mean, girls weren't dating the dudes that wore glasses. Trust me, I didn't have any dates until I started wearing contacts in like midway through the 10th grade. I speak from experience, dude.
He's also kind of like scrawny and everything too. So I think that kind of plays into that as well.
Yeah. But it's just so funny because like, you know, he has this beautiful, luscious hair. And so to keep that a thing, they throw the beret on it.
Well, then he helmet hairs himself later in the movie.
Slicks it down and this weird thing. And Rob is really going to get butthurt when I start talking about the secondary characters. And
how dare you assume?
But I'll skip that for a second to finish my thoughts on the main characters. I don't know. I don't necessarily see him as entitled, being like kind of the former nerd in high school. And I think that's why I love these underdog nerd movies, is because characters kind of resonate with me, and I like that. I feel like it was like he took his only shot he saw for popularity, and he took it. Now, yes, he does become an asshole, and I think that is very apropos, or whatever you want to call it, with life, in that people that go from being nobodies to somebody's very quickly can be assholes. The other interesting thing about this movie is when I was joking last week about how people fall in love in 3 days and then the movie's like over. They did a really good job of doing the timeline of the movie to let you know that it goes from the beginning of school through Halloween, Christmas, and then through from football season to baseball season, you know, towards the end. So they did a great job of showing this actually takes place over a school year. And of course, the movie itself takes place over a month.
And they kept throwing in the timeline of, we already had 5 lunches this week. So they kept consistently throwing that out there. So you knew that time was passing.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know if I would call him entitled. I felt maybe that he thought he was entitled later. Now, she was definitely entitled. I mean, the whole thing with her was the credit cards and the cheerleader thing. But what I did kind of find interesting about her character and what made her a little bit different was that underlying kind of hidden artistic thing. And also, Hannah, you and I have talked about this. I have a few young actor students who have that same thing of they feel like they have to hide that artistic side of themselves when they're in, high school and middle school, because people hate on it so much. They hate on that artistic side so much. And so she suppresses that. And I think that's very relevant. So, I mean, that's kind of my quick take on the two main characters. Terry, what's your take?
I watched this movie, and growing up, I was not a popular popular kid in school. So it was just, I really just got caught up in it, just watching it. I really, like I said, pretty much everything you hit on was what I was seeing, that it was a turnaround from him being unpopular to paying his way in, pretty much how everything is nowadays anyway. You buy your way in and work your way up, and then you get busted. And that was the turnaround for him when he realized that he had gone too far with everything. And the one person that he did love or did want to be around, he had pushed away from being an asshole. And it was, I got caught up in the story, so I didn't really do a lot of notes because I was so. And then at the end, I cried a little.
Stunning and brave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I teared up and it choked me up a little bit because it was just sweet. And I think I'd forgot that I had really seen this movie before. I was kind of watching it again for the first time after all these years, and it was good. There are a lot of things in here, like the guys are dumb, and you got something. You all right? You okay over there? All right. Sciatica? Is that what that is? You all right? I
didn't even know Matthew was still here.
I forgot he was there too until he kicked the table. That's what he did to get our attention. Hey guys, listen, look, I'm right here.
Well, normally he's over there. Y'all are kiki and cuckooing over there, looking up YouTube videos.
Like a good teacher, I separate.
Yeah, like kiki, look at this.
And then we look at things. It's, hey, y'all get boring after a while. I did like how the African anteater dance, where everybody just falls in line with it. And it's just, this guy's, he's the hot shit now. So he's doing something new, something neat. And they all grabbed a hold of it. Exactly how high school was back in the day. And it's,
That's how it is. That's how life is today.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. And like you said, Robin, I hadn't been in high school, and I don't want to say it's been a long time.
Many moons.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Main characters, I think you've hit all the points, Garrett, with how she was stuck on herself, go nowhere boyfriend Bobby.
Bobby had a college scholarship.
Yeah, Bobby was
playing for Division I football.
Bobby didn't give a shit until he shows up needing something, wanting a little bit of companionship because he felt like school was kicking his ass.
Jealousy and fragile relationships.
And so when he showed up and calls her a prostitute, what he said?
It's a line in the movie.
There's a line in the movie. Like, he said that makes you a prostitute.
That
I didn't make it up.
Right though.
I mean, it's in the movie. Where would they put it in the movie if it's not right?
He was saying in there to make it a bad guy.
See?
There's a whole lot.
You can't get mad at the writing because
exactly
they wrote it with intention.
Like slut shaming and prostitution issues with this particular movie.
She did take money. She didn't sleep with him, so it's technically, but not all prostitutes or sex workers sleep with her.
That'd be more like an escort.
That's a good word.
She talks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, she talks about like other girls, like being cheap. Like she says that to her friends.
Yeah, she shits on her friends the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there's entire scenes of slut shaming, and then the whole part. But she's good at it.
Man, she's good at it. Every time they say, you didn't look too uncomfortable in that nerd wagon before or whatever. I was like, damn, she is stinging the shit out of them.
And then the whole part where he's in the bathroom with one of the friends as well. Yeah.
Oh, and he used her point. Oh.
And he's like, I respect you plenty 30 seconds ago, and you didn't think that you were going to get any. Did you respect her, or is it only saying it?
The idea of it, we respected. I mean, I think I've said that a few times. Huh?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what you said.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you that. I just happen. Robin's in the corner. Damn it! I knew he'd be here.
Like,
I just happen to make eye contact with you, Robin. I don't know. No, I'm just saying. I've said that a few times.
Terry's personal stenographer over there in the corner.
Well, fans are fans. You see what he's doing. You connect with, especially with, like I said, I was not a popular kid growing up. And to watch that you could see where that'd be something you want to get to. I liked it. I don't know if it could be made now, but Robin, what do you think in that massive book of notes you have?
I mean, it's classic tale of different classes, people wanting to, move into different classes, the ugly duckling type. Like I said, from firsthand experience, I wore glasses all through, grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I did not start. I asked a lot of girls out on dates. I got told they just wanted to be my friend. And then magically, when I stopped wearing glasses, got contacts, put on about 15 pounds of muscle, and it's like, oh yeah, we'll go to the movie. Cool. I mean, I didn't,
So
I just was like, I was
to the bone zone.
No, I just went from the friend zone to go to the movies. I respect women, Terry. I'm not some fast mover, fast talker.
You missed out on a lot then. Continue.
Once again, I didn't see you there.
Well, because you didn't look hard enough.
Anyway, in a way, yeah, she's kind of like, you want to say entitled or whatever. She was. But, you know, if you look later in the movie, she's really just trying to do whatever she could to fit in and stay with the popular kids because, you know, she talks about struggling to even fit in with her friends later on in the film.
Yeah.
But she was really good at snarky comments. You know, Cindy's very good at the snarky comments. She very much liked to put people in their place. Like when she didn't, you know, really give a shit about Ron until he got popular. And when Ron got popular, she had to chop him back down a little bit.
I don't know. I think she got into Ron when she got to know Ron.
That's true. They very much shared a lot in common, and they did.
And the poem. When she showed him her poem that she showed nobody else.
And once again, they have we'll get into that into the plot, but you know, there towards the end, you know, she had to kind of like chop him back down, put him in his place. And Ron did end up buying into his hype too much. You know, people do, you know, love to read their own press clippings. And he did get a little too far out over his skis too, you know, but sometimes, you know, friends grow apart. I'm not friends with all my friends I was with in high school. I didn't friends with a lot of them. You know, we still vacation together. I didn't
throw shit at their house.
That was the funniest, serious moment in the whole movie. You should have my house. You know, Courtney Gaines, who also played in some other movies. He's a good little actor.
Yeah,
what's that?
That line about you threw shit on my house almost got cut.
Because of the rating system or
something to do with it was like there was something about that line that was too harsh for what they were trying to do. Now in the UK edit, they actually did end up having to cut out a whole bunch, or not a whole bunch, but like a minute of the movie to fit their rating system.
Which is funny because the UK uses a lot of words we don't use over here.
They shat on my house.
Anyway, I'm done. Never mind. At least he got a cool cowboy hat at the end of the movie. I did like it.
That safari hat.
Yeah, the cowboy hat.
Same shirt.
And never can go wrong with a cool cowboy hat.
Which the thing about the cowboy hat is, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But the funny thing about the cowboy hat is it was such a nod to riding off in the sunset on a horse. You know what I mean? It was such a
all of these movies.
Yes, all of them. Yeah, and I guarantee you next week it's the same thing. I don't remember exactly, but I think they probably do the same thing, or maybe it's at the end.
They use a lot of horses in the next movie.
What's the next movie? I'm joking. It was a joke. Don't say to everybody it's okay. It's all right.
So
I don't know. I forgot.
Hannah, secondary characters. Your thoughts on the secondary characters?
His poor friends.
Oh.
His long-suffering poor friends, especially what was the one whose house got
Wormer?
Yeah, is that his name? Wormer.
Yeah, Wormer was his last name, I think, or Worman or something.
Yeah.
Matthew, make yourself useful. Pull it up on IMDb. Tell us these character names.
You'd think he'd already have it pulled up.
He's over asleep. That dude's sleeping. He ain't got a microphone. He's got no stake in this.
Yeah. So Worman, but they called him Wormer.
Yeah.
That was a derogatory nickname.
Like Dean Wormer?
Like he needs work
from Animal House.
Exactly. His poor friends. I felt bad for them. Her friends, good God, like just more entitlement and stereotypical. Like I thought it was funny because it was like it's supposed to take place in Arizona or something, isn't it?
Yes.
But they are such stereotypical Valley girls, and this is coming from somebody who I am legitimately a Valley girl. Like I'm from fucking San Fernando Valley. I am a Valley girl through and through.
Like, oh my God, what?
Yes, exactly. Do you realize how many times I say like in a sentence?
Let me tell you like.
All I'm missing is like really bad vocal fry.
The barista told me like I couldn't have. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You should hear my coffee order.
I can imagine.
We've already had this conversation. Yeah, so I thought it was just like they're very stereotypical, like 16-year-old girls. The parents were kind of interesting to me as well. Like it was interesting to me how much the mom was trying to instill like good citizenship values. Now she went about it like the complete wrong way and being like, oh, you should be more like the Miller kid. Yeah. And it was like, don't ever say that shit to your children. Like, just
I like Rocky. I like Rocky. Anybody like Rocky? You remember Rocky?
No.
Oh, Rocky, the boyfriend.
Oh, the mom's boyfriend.
The mom's boyfriend.
Oh, God.
Hey,
you want to talk about hebephilia?
What's up, girl?
Fuck me.
I was like, oh shit. I thought this.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cringy.
That creeped me out a little bit. I love Rocky was something else.
The blonde jock was probably my favorite character. He was the
100% mine too.
He was the most progressive of them all.
Yeah, he Rube. Well, I know him as Rube. He was in all the major league movies as Rube, and he plays Rube in in every single movie. He played Rube in this. This was like a precursor to Rube.
He's Big John in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the most progressive of them all, and he was my favorite part.
Bruce Cotter? Bruce Cotter?
Yeah.
Eric Bruce Cotter?
Eric Bruce Cotter.
He plays the dumb jock in everything.
Yeah.
And he got shot in Starship Troopers right in the head. Remember that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right in the head.
So Hannah, continue.
Sorry.
Secondaries.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I think Big John was probably my favorite. There was one minor character where he said, like, go back to where you came from, Jose, or something like that. And I was like, but for the most part, I think, like, the jocks actually, at least to me, came off more progressive than a lot of the other minor characters, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Quentin was a cocksucker.
Go ahead.
If he chose to be, that's his choice.
I mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying he was not a nice guy.
He was a jerk.
Okay, but say
he's a big meanie.
Oh, yeah, he's an asshole.
He's a big meanie face.
He's an asshole.
He's a big poop head.
Be a homophobe.
He's a big meanie. He's a meanie face.
Oh, y'all make me laugh with that.
He's turning all red too.
Seriously? I'm over. Y'all don't even. Never mind.
No, they didn't.
Story time.
No, not get into that one.
Shut up, man.
Shut up, Meg.
Oh my God.
I know I'm gonna get canceled for bullying Matthew by some wackadoo that listens.
Oh, we're all gonna get canceled then, even Hannah, because she bullies him too.
It's okay. You can bully a man if you're a female. That's totally.
my
Oh, the
God.
retard. Yeah.
That was bad too.
Those cards with the tards. And then here comes the nerd herd.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Well, I don't think the nerd herd was as bad as he used the hard R retard.
The R. It was just the T.
No, the Patrick Dempsey does.
Oh, he does? Wait.
Walking down the hall in the first 5 minutes of the movie, he says something about
Yes, he
but
does.
it just goes to show you. Yes, Rob, we know this was written in 1987, but we're just trying to point out.
No, I'm laughing at some of the funny lines I wrote down.
So-
I'm not sighing at you. I mean,
So-
even though they're probably still calling people that are.
Oh, they are. But what I'm saying is, they wouldn't do it in a movie. That was what I'm saying now. Like that, and then the cards with cards with tards, whatever that was.
Well, maybe if it was a period piece,
Maybe, but I doubt it.
people's buttholes get too puckered up over things like that.
Hannah.
Yes.
Secondaries. Anything else with your secondaries?
Nope.
All right. So my thoughts on the secondaries. My biggest problem, with the exception of Seth Green as Chucky, which was so funny to see because Seth Green really still evolved into that as a grown-up character. Like he plays some of the same characters that he played as Chucky, which I thought was funny, but he was great. I think it was a good little, foil for the brother.
Side note, when was the actual Chucky because was that a throwback to that or was
No, I
did that
think
evolve
Chucky probably
after
came
that?
after. Matthew, see when Child's Play came out?
The original.
Yeah, the first one, not the remake.
November 9th, 1988.
1988. Okay, so Child's Play came out in 88, so it was a year later.
After. I wonder if that was, do we think that was part of it?
I don't know. You see Seth Green? You're saying that Seth Green looks like a Chucky doll?
I mean, kind
Wait a
of.
minute. Can't Buy Me
Also,
Love's
he's a little bit of a
87.
nightmare.
Child Play is 88.
Well, that's what she's saying. Seth Green looks like a Chucky doll, and so
And he was a little bit of a nightmare in that movie. So, I mean,
the best
Well,
part.
what I'm saying is how the Child's Play didn't come out till this movie was released.
That's what she's saying. She's saying she's wondering if Chucky was based on Chucky, not the
other one.
the doll Chucky was based on Seth Green's Chucky, not the other way around.
I thought it was based on my buddy.
I guess you know what?
Wherever I go, he goes. My buddy doll.
We can.
My buddy. The girl was kid sister. I know a lot of 80s commercial jingles.
We can
one of those
explore that.
Kids. No, that's before my time. You're like 1,000 years older than me, Terry.
We can explore that in October. Somebody can pick Child's Play.
He goes. Buddy, kid sister.
did you say sober October?
I don't sober any year, month, or day.
But my biggest problem, I think, honestly, with the secondary characters is with her friend group and with the jocks that were not Big John. They were the same. I got the girls mixed up. I couldn't tell the difference between Iris and the other ones. Like there was 3 of them. And at first I thought there was only 2 because you normally only see her with 2. But then there was actually Iris was kind of the third.
I almost kind of wonder if that was the point, though.
I understand you can't always develop these secondary characters, but I just like them to have a little more, to be a little different. And that was the thing with Big John is at least he stood out from the other 2 jocks. Quint and the other guy whose name the character name escapes me because they were kind of the same. same guys. They were the same, and they looked the same, they act the same. And I guess Hannah has a point that was kind of the point, but still, that was one of the things that disappointed me, that there wasn't enough. Ricky, man, Ricky Quint, same, like they were the same. Oh, now a couple other interesting things. There was a couple of the minor characters, a couple of the minor female characters actually went on to be kind of the it girls. One of them was Amy Dolenz. I don't remember what character she played, but she was one of the ones that whatever guy with the wine, they were not one of the friends. They were secondary characters. Yeah. So Amy Dolenz was one. And then there was another one that Amy Dolenz went on to be the lead in a couple of like romantic comedy movies. There was somebody else that was like a minor character that I saw at the very, very end, and I recognized her and then look at her.
Lisa, Christine.
I don't know, maybe, but Amy Dolenz is still like a working actress today, from what I saw. Her and Big John both. So yeah, that was my problem with the secondary characters. They were just kind of vanilla. I mean, they helped obviously move the plot along, but I would have liked to have seen a little, I don't know, just a little different dynamic, I guess, between them. Terry?
No, they played exactly into it to tell the story. I mean, she had the friends that all fell in line after she dated him for a week, and then everybody wanted a piece of him, and that pretty much they shared him, passed him around. I mean, I don't know if that happened, not to me, but anyway. So I just think if they told the story, they kept it going, there wasn't a lot to them. The jocks were just morons. I didn't enjoy them at all. But I think that's pretty much it. You didn't see much from them. What, you need a pen? Here.
Oh, I got 3 of them. It's just the fact they don't want to write on that.
No, I have.
And the little brother was great. I loved him, especially when the parents told him to shut up, both of them. That was one of my favorite parts. And I don't know if y'all remember this scene, but they were in home ec class. How's the guy shirtless?
I don't know. I was wondering that because I said that to my friend.
It's crazy, man. It's a crazy 80s.
In 80s high school movies, they did a lot of wild stuff.
Yeah, I said that to my friend. I was like, is he wearing a shirt? And they were like, no, he's just wearing a stringer.
Yeah, an apron.
And then they cut it to a different angle shot, and I was like, no, he's shirtless, and they're cooking. Like, he should not be like the naked chef here.
I was like, how is he in class with no shirt? I mean, I know it's a jock thing, but no.
It's just like...
Jocks didn't get away with that when I was going to school.
Well, no, that's why it's a movie.
So when they were egging the house or shitting on my house.
Can't wait till this is over.
Why was he yelling out Ronnie's name the whole time?
I don't know. They're like the worst.
They were the worst shitting on the house.
They're the worst.
They were the worst house shitters ever.
They were the worst
Ronnie,
pranksters.
come on, Ronnie. Ronnie, come on.
They were the worst pranksters of all time, yeah.
I was like...
Also, you're wearing all black and you've painted your face, but you're going to park the car...
Yeah, across the street.
Right in the lights. Right. Good plan.
Yeah, we always ran a couple houses down through the toilet paper and then ran back to the truck.
Or through the eggs, whatever. Yeah. Man, I got shot at one time for doing that.
Code names, guys. Code names.
We always came through the ditch. Like, we were like super clandestine.
We used to use aliases, well, kind of aliases. We would pick names of random other students at our school that, well, they were kind of nobodies. And I still use one of the aliases today when I introduce myself to people, and like when I go out of town. Next time we go to Vegas, I'll tell you what my alias is.
Go ahead.
Before my other celebrity name. But anyway, it's funny. So we would be like yelling, "Hey, blank." That way, in case somebody hurt us, it would go to the somebody else. I grew up in a small town.
I know you love Texas. And that's, I lived out there for a little bit, and we went and we were running around doing stupid shit like that. And we egged a house, and
that's a good way to get shot.
That's exactly what happened. So we started throwing eggs and hit the door, and we stayed a little bit too long, and we ran out to get in the car. We ran back to the car, jumped in the car. Guy come out and shot the sign that we were pulling through, where it was a stop sign. He hit that sucker shooting at us. Yeah. We heard it ding, ding, ding. I was like, okay.
Yeah, we were kind of
doing this again.
Kind of an unwritten rule where I grew up was like, don't do any damage. Like, everybody laughs at the TP. We used to go get the thrifty nickel. Do y'all know what the
thrifty? Oh, yeah. 100%.
Well, now it's like American classified. The free classified papers, we would just go get those and like throw them in people's yards or like throw TP. Nothing to damage any property. It's like, you damage property, it's free to get shot at, especially in the state of Texas. I know that so you don't want to. We always had like a prank rule is don't damage anyone's stuff.
They didn't damage anything. Hannah, were you going to say something, or you just want to keep us on track?
Oh, no, I was just saying this is all going over my head because this was not my experience whatsoever.
Oh, you missed out.
Well, as a prankster, you're saying? Or
I didn't prank anybody in high school. No. I
couldn't tell.
I could be wrong, but like,
just looking at you, I couldn't ever tell. I'm just saying, I would never have guessed that in my life that you didn't prank anybody or threw eggs at anybody.
I'm just going to sit here.
That's sarcasm for people that don't know.
Well, it's hard to toilet paper somebody's house when you don't have the security gate code.
That's true.
To get up,
the toilet paper.
to get up, you know,
In the valley.
and the private security,
Yeah.
and all that there in the
valley.
in the
And you're not trying to
which-
get like
and
the
the toilet
hound
paper is
sick dog.
monogram.
in fancy land, living up there by Mr. Burns,
Which is probably why they did this in Arizona, because they had to move it out of the valley, because they were like, nobody will believe this because nobody pranks anybody in the valley.
Yeah.
Also, nobody wants to drive like an hour and get stuck in traffic with like black mask like on, because then you're just sitting in traffic on the 405 like.
Then you get pulled over and the cops
Damn it.
beat you.
This was before Rodney King.
Oh, sorry. I got caught up. I thought that's what had happened.
So, Robin, your takes on the secondary characters.
Oh man, I really didn't pay that much attention to him.
Oh,
you
really?
know, I liked Big John. He's a cool cat, man. You know, he was fun.
But that's kind of the point too. Of like you said, you didn't pay much attention to them. It's because there
That's why
wasn't.
they're
They
there.
were pretty vanilla.
The
They
girls
weren't.
were pretty
Except
hot.
Big John.
The girls were pretty hot for 80s. You know, for 80s
Except
hot.
what, man?
Well, so I think probably
No, I mean,
all of
like,
them were.
Cindy's mom could like.
Got it going on.
If I was a single man, Cindy's mom could holler at me for
Stacey.
sure.
Stacy's mom. Shit.
'Cause, I mean,
Cindy's mom.
God damn it, I forgot the name.
He was so sure of it too. He was like, "That's the name of
and
it."
then I went, damn, I grew up in that time. How can I not? Fuck.
I find
Wayne, baby.
I find the mature ladies to be quite my fancy. So I thought, you know, you fix her hair up in a more modern hairstyle, she'd still be hot today.
No, I thought you were talking about the other one.
No, then that's the one I'm talking about. She had the hard features.
No, I thought you were talking about the main.
No, I thought about the one that went. He had the two titties. Not one titties, whatever it is. Remember, these are the prettiest titty.
Oh, I got you.
She in the car scene, and nothing against her. She's probably a very lovely lady. But when she said,
I could have swore I was talking there for a
You
second.
were.
well,
But you know
now
what
you
it
know how
is?
it feels.
You know what it is? Wow. Look at Rob's face too.
Never,
He's
I'm
just.
sorry.
Terry never stops talking.
I'm
We just
sorry.
turn his
So,
microphone
anyway,
off.
I had
My contract up.
So, Rom,
Anyway, go
continue.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob.
Kind of like, I did like the prettiest boobies you've ever seen line because I love boobs. I didn't really get that really into the characters too much, as more as I like to watch for like the funny lines and things like that. So I'm more into like the dialogue than analyzing the characters. I mean, you know, it's classic 80s, classic high school film. You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying.
Nobody in real life is this segregated in regular school
No.
like they do in the movies, but they do it to tell a story. I understand that. And it's fun. But I mean, once again, I grew up in a small town, so maybe it's just my little small town, you know, insulated life, but we all kind of intermingled. Now, there were some kids like that just didn't ever hang out, but like nobody was ever like, beat it, nerds. Like, cause I was in theater and on the football team, and I worked at the vocational building, you know, so I had friends in every, I guess, sect, and we all kind of like hung out. We used to go to like, you know, some undisclosed locations and have get-togethers, and it seemed like everybody hung out with
like
each
that.
other, you know.
That's that. No, it was.
We didn't have like, I mean, we had people that were definitely into athletics and people that were just like only into like the vocational stuff.
Yeah,
And
but y'all still got together.
yeah.
Yeah, see,
we
we
never
never-
like had one of those like, oh, they can't hang out with, look, they can't come to this party because they're like,
Well, they weren't invited. See, there was like
You
kind of
know.
a hierarchy at our school. You had the.
Mean Girls too, with the
Yeah.
amount of segregation.
Yeah,
like, I'm
you-
sure Mean
this is
Girls
a lot like
probably
that.
took a.
I know it's weird.
The
You people would be
tables.
like, oh, he's from Texas. You probably had really segregation,
No.
but that's what
Oh,
people like
dude,
to
you
think.
don't
But
know.
no, we were pretty
tell you,
well.
my school was
Everybody,
like that.
I'm not saying everybody got along. There was people like we couldn't, you know, there's
Yeah.
motherfuckers I couldn't stand. You know, I wasn't going to hang out with that person.
Yeah.
But as far as like different groups, we all kind of like intermingled. I mean, everybody kind of had their own section at the lunch
Yeah.
quad, but it wasn't like if I wanted to go talk to my buddy in ag class, I'd walk over and be like, hey man, we getting together to, you know, work on this trailer this evening. Yeah, man. All right. And I go talk to my buddies on the football team, especially during football season. But, and then like I said, I had theater class, you know, at the end of, you know, twice a week. So
We just had different, like you had, like you said, the jocks. You had the jocks. You had the country boys that, you know, did the trucks, did whatever. And then you had the cheerleaders. And then you had the girls that weren't so popular. And they really, no, when the popular kids got together, You got together. You didn't hear nobody. You didn't get invited or didn't whatever. So yeah, it was a big. And then in like you said in the lunchroom, same thing. The tables, they all sit to one table. They all did the thing. It was like that.
Our lunchroom was very segregated, but we had kind of the same.
For the listeners, we're talking about like segregation, not like Jim Crow. We're talking about like
my school was
click. I guess you would go
until I was probably 9 years old. Like it was completely white, and then they started.
That a lot.
Terry, you went to high school in the 60s. We know.
I had a similar experience.
Their experience.
I had a similar experience to you, Rob, in that it was a lot of crossover.
In fact, we were texting about it.
Yeah, we were. So we had the heads, which were like back then was like, metal heads. They were long hair, Anthrax, T-shirts and Metallica.
Like the musical people.
Yeah. Like those were the heads. And you had the heads.
Had like people that had their like old garage bands and stuff.
Yeah, and then you had the jocks, and then you had ROTC, and then you had band. But there were kids that were in band that couldn't play at the high school football games because they were playing high school football, and there were ROTC guys and that played football, and so there was a lot of crossover within the groups, and probably
one of my very best friends in high school, we played varsity football together, and at halftime he would run out there and play the drums because he was like a drum player on the marching band, and he'd run back in, throw his shoulder pads on, and we'd go back out for the second half.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because we had maybe you and I had smaller school experience. Like our schools were smaller. We went to smaller schools, and maybe that's the experience that we have at smaller schools, because obviously, like Hannah was saying, this has to come from somewhere, somebody's experience. It's not that they just made it up.
And then, of course, the movies
really segregate it. Yeah,
blow it out
click-wise.
For the entertainment value.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll circle back around to plots and lines, because I had some funny lines and stuff too. But
you know what I just put together?
What's that?
That crossword puzzle? I mean, that jigsaw puzzle you've been working on? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I almost had a snarky comment, but I actually do both of those, so I can't really say much.
I do too. I think anyway.
No, actually, so back in the day, when I sang a lot, I did an opera, and we said it. We did the Cir d'Amore, which is the
that weight ADD thought that's why you were so like up in arms about the opera singer last week. I was like, why is Hannah so worried about opera singer?
Remember that?
It all comes together now.
I was in operas.
Carry on.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, with the lady sings, it's over. Go ahead.
So the director that I worked under when I did Elixir said it in a 1985 high school, and I never put it together until just now. It is the same fucking plot, pretty much.
I'm kind of lost. What happened?
She's saying this opera that she did is the same plot as...
plot as that. Elixir.
It's the same.
Elixir's the same thing?
Elixir of Love. It's about this nerdy guy who, I mean, he doesn't rent her, but it's this nerdy guy who wants to make himself popular and wants to get the girl. And so he goes through all of this rigmarole trying to get himself. Now he ends up taking the Elixir of Love, which is basically alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yeah, well, I mean, Love Potion number 9. It's the same shit.
That was a good movie. Remember that?
No, never seen it.
Which, for our production, was a bottle of Bartles and James.
Oh, they were drinking on.
But I mean, it's the same idea. But it just clicked to me that it's that ideal has been around
since Shakespeare.
Okay. We'll skip that. It was Donizetti, but that's fine.
Terry's not really brushed up on his Shakespeare, so let's just glaze over that. Let's talk about, we've hit the main characters, we've hit the secondary characters. Let's talk about plot, and even in that, so that Rob can have some fun lines and things like that. But today. You're having fun today?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're looking at booties on the internet.
No, this is a fun conversation.
Oh, okay.
I actually do want to know what Rob's like, because he is such a dialogue hound. I do want to know like what your favorite lines were.
Oh, well, yeah. When it comes to me, I wrote them down. I wrote a few down.
I'm asking.
She's tossing it to you.
I'm asking.
When in some of these, I'm pretty sure will be yours, because they were like, I was like, I can't say that today, because when he was doing the dance, the interpretive dance or whatever, and the girls were like, oh, like it's cool. He must be like special.
Oh yeah, special in the spaz. Yeah.
And they were like, hey, can't do that no more. Nowadays you just get a parade.
Apparently that dance was choreographed by Paula Abdul.
It was. I saw like the first opening title credits and the title card. I saw choreographer Paula Abdul. Apparently she's in the scene somewhere. I don't know if she might be the maybe she might be the Matthew. Look up and see what Paula Abdul was.
African anteater.
I think she might have been the female because I saw somewhere that she was a dancer, but the only dancer I can think of outside of the high school dance would have been that. So see what she played. I know she was the choreographer, but see if she wasn't the female dancer.
But yeah, anyway, Rob, what were
towards the end of the movie, the chick with the mullet, she's like, could have had me for 49. Yeah. A young single Rob would have been like, deal.
100%.
Because one, I don't like to negotiate because it's awkward.
Yeah.
But when I see a deal, I mean, like, if we rewind it, I mean, she was, athletic looking lady. She just had a funky haircut. You know what I mean? So I was like, I would have been, 80s, I'd have been like sold. But, Ron probably like had standards.
About that time.
That's Ron's problem. See, Ron should have.
If that would have happened before it.
Once you build have that ascertain that level of.
Which is why I can never be single again either.
Oh, it's because you have to do the one up, right? You have to do the one up, and that's tough, especially in your position.
I just masturbate.
Yeah. You take a lot more trips to Vegas.
Yeah. But I can't afford that now. I have too many dogs with surgeries. The shit on my house line. I just if I'd have been in the arcade with some dork going, you shit on the house, I would have been laughing so hard.
That voice.
I would have been laughing so hard while some dork cries, yelling at his friend saying, you shit on my house, that it wouldn't have been serious because I'd have got fired. If I was on that movie, they'd have fired me because I'd just been like, I'd have knocked over the Pac-Man game. It'd have been a whole scene.
Yeah, because it was so.
And then the other line where she was like, these are the best bazoombas, in the land.
Titties.
I was like.
Oh, she said there's one titty as pretty as this one. Yeah. And then she pulls out the other one.
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It was and good for her.
Uncredited appearance as a dancer.
Yeah, but what dancer? That's what we're trying to figure out.
He was so proud of himself.
Yeah, he's like, she's an uncredited. Yeah, no shit. We know she's an uncredited dancer. We want to know exactly where she was in the movie. Okay. Any other lines, Rob?
I didn't like it at first when she kept calling him Donald. He's like, it's Ronald. That's hilarious. I thought it was funny. Good little tie in there. All right, I'm done. That's cool.
One of my lines I thought for sure you were that I did not get at all in 1987, probably because I hadn't had one myself at that point.
Wait a minute, let me back up real quick. She said $49.95 in 1987. That was a good chunk of change.
I was like,
so maybe that wouldn't have been sold.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that she was 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, never mind. I stand by my statement. Stand by my previous statement.
Wait, she's $49.95 flat. She was 1,000 with tax.
Oh no, she wasn't flat. She was very voluptuous.
No, I'm saying 40.
Wow, that's a good one. Yeah,
I got nothing.
And the look on the face is there. It's just
certainly not.
Whatever else that he had to buy to keep up the charade.
Wait. Show everybody who you think Paula Abdul is. This is fucking amazing.
Oh no,
Youngblood. Let's see who Youngblood thinks Paula Abdul is.
Oh no, sweetheart.
Yeah, no, I saw it. No.
Oh baby, what is you doing?
I'm fine. I'm just gonna leave early today.
Now.
Oh, sweet baby Angle.
Jesus.
Oh, honey.
Oh, no, Lord.
She did. What's sad is Paula Abdul has been recently relevant. So it's not like she...
Yeah, didn't you watch America's Got Talent or anything?
American Idol.
American Idol.
Yeah.
Sorry. They're all the same.
Potato.
They're all the same.
So, but I was going to say...
didn't you watch I Have a Sad Story and I Can Sing? That's basically all those shows.
The line that cracked me up that I missed in 1987 that I laughed and actually rewound it, I played it back was sorry, I couldn't say rewound. Was the one where he goes, yes, I see the erection in the telescope in the beginning. That was one of those lines that completely went right over my head at 12 years old. May have been when I went to the bathroom or something. It was right when he was looking at the telescope and the guy was like, you see the erection? And because he was talking about the upside down image and he sees Cindy Mancini in the thing. He goes, yes, I see the erection. That one cracked me up. So, Terry, what about you? Plots or parts of the thing that cracked you up?
I'm sorry. I think you're right. She's Paula Abdul. It's the girl there she stepped in for, his girl.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who they're playing. They said it right here. That's what it is, Paula Abdul. So when she's back, when her back is to the camera, you can her hair. Okay, maybe not. So what are we? What was it? Plots and who? Huh?
Anything you want, Terry.
Okay, good. So one time at band camp,
Don't tell him that.
Before you get going,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. One more thing. What's one more thing before you start? Let me tell you. No, all those were great. Just loved the line. I laughed. I cried. I shit my pants. It was awesome.
Good to know.
You got all verklempt at the end.
Yeah, I did. That is 100% true. I got tight throated. I don't know if it's
Mike
a medical
Myers
term.
character.
You got a knot in your throat.
I got a knot. That also as well.
Colloquialism you were digging for.
Could have got that.
Okay.
And a little snot nosed, and then I got a little teary eyed.
How many D's are
I
there?
did not.
Well, you go to public school, you throw a few in just for good measure.
Maybe in Louisiana.
So, but yeah, it got me.
That comment was so under the radar.
What'd you say?
Rob.
Maybe in Louisiana.
Oh yeah, 100% Louisiana.
What I love about 80s movies and the 80s in general is that, when the dad is washing his station wagon, he's wearing cutoff shorts. In the 80s, you could be gay, straight, male or female. You could be person. And it's perfectly okay to wear some cutoff shorts. Now,
Especially in your
it's
country. We all
stigmatized. I mean, we wore
soon as your
we wore them
shorts-
all over the country.
Yeah, as soon as your pants or your pants got too short,
became shorts.
you cut them off.
I loved that. So I mean, I like the way the girls dressed, in their little like aerobics outfits. That was pretty cool. I love stuff about the 80s. Suede and fine leathers.
How about that fringe jacket?
It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, hers you're talking about?
Yeah.
The whole thing the whole plot of the movie, the whole thing that starts it all.
Find one in a store right now.
Did you crack up, Rob, with the wrestling thing on TV, right? Where the kid was watching wrestling on Saturday morning wrestling,
It was like that would have
and
been,
the American bandstand was on at the same time. It was so.
I was like, that is awesome because
Yes, I was too.
Yeah.
I was like,
That wasn't American Bandstand.
no, it wasn't. But
It was PBS, whatever.
He thought it was.
Basically, the generic
I was like,
version.
God, that's something I would have been watching.
African cultural.
I'll tell you what, I really think I became a man. I don't know. Everybody's programming's different, but we had Fox even out there where I grew up.
Channel 33.
Yeah.
Yep.
And man, when Soul Train would come on, I think that's where I got my first boner. I really do. I mean, that was when I knew
I was
that
Chitara.
I could not dance like that, but I really was mesmerized by those ladies that could.
Thundercats.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about me.
Probably nothing good.
Since you might fit in with the furry community.
I don't know.
Nah, you're too uptight, Terry. You're right.
Yeah, you're right. I am way too uptight.
I know kind of what Hannah's view on this is going to be, and all the problematic stuff. We'll kind of wrap up each piece, and I'll end with her on all of the reasons why we couldn't make this movie today. But I'll give my take on it. Before I do, I want to say a few things that really were very nostalgic for me in watching this movie. The Touchstone Pictures logo at the very beginning was so nostalgic because there were so many Touchstone movies, which Disney Studio did Touchstone so they could release PG-13 movies because you couldn't release anything that wasn't
Roger Rabbit was Touchstone.
That's right, because you couldn't release anything that wasn't G-rated under the Disney banner then, so they had Touchstone Pictures. There was a ton of stuff that Disney did. That was very nostalgic. The Reebok high tops that he was wearing that I noticed in the very final scene, I was like, oh yeah, that was cool. The Paul Abdul thing we talked about. Jolt Cola, he had a can of Jolt Cola
Saw that
behind him in the scene where he was studying right before he calls Cindy. Chucky is one of my favorite cartoons, comic strips as a kid, still this day, is Berkeley Breathed Bloom County. And my favorite...
Was that the Opus?
It was Opus, yes. But Chucky is wearing a Bill the Cat t-shirt when Cindy Mancini pops in with the powder. And I loved Bill the Cat. That was like my favorite cartoon comic strip character as a kid. Berkeley Breathed. It was great. So a couple of things. We talk about this a lot, and I know that Rob's going to say, "Oh yeah, you want to make it look like a college brochure," and that would be my take on this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's what it is.
But that's my take on this. That
I know, I'm waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, it's so homogenous. The reason why we need to talk about it today is because we can see why there is such a push for more diverse casting now, because for so many years, people of color were not giving those opportunities. And you can see in these old movies how few opportunities people of color had. That's why it's important today, because they were marginalized for so long. So when we mention, yeah, you can make this movie today, but it needs to be a little more like real life, because in unless you went to Terry's high school in 1960s in Natchitoches, you know, our schools were were integrated. My school was, you know, half and half probably for me. That wasn't really represented. Like the jocks, there were no black athletes that I saw. Like friend group that you would have that you could have put, you know, it was funny because I noticed that at towards the end, you had the black principal, and then you had the kid that replaced Ronald in the 4 was a black guy. So that was like the only two kind of bit parts. And there were a few extras because they used the high school. They make movies like this now with like Mean Girls, and even though that's a few years old, they still make these high school movies because it's still a real thing, right? So I think you can make this and just drop a few of them.
Yeah, I think high school is still real.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. What, did they cancel high school in 2020?
I know I have 3 kids that are very much in high school.
Okay, there we go.
And so I think those dynamics are there. There's probably things like we talk about all the time that would change with social media, because he would definitely negotiate being Facebook official or Instagram official. He would definitely be negotiating. That was part of his negotiations.
Relationship.
Yeah, you got to put on your Facebook page that we're in a relationship.
I think that blow up too, their argument probably would have happened on social media instead of in real life as well. Or at least started online.
At the very beginning, with him being the only, we're talking about Ronnie being the only one watching the cheerleaders practice. I mean, how creepy.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only one just on the fence. And it's like, this dude here is going to, no, I ain't gonna say it. Something's gonna happen. Somebody gonna go missing.
So I think you take out those problematic phrases that were not problematic back then. And that's what we talk about when we talk about these things, is like, it was fine then. Nobody thought about it then. We think about it now. We know better. And so we change those things. So I think you could probably make it and just drop a few of the problematic words. Cause let's face it. And I know
we have made some version of this. I guarantee you. It's out of our age range.
We haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. They did. They remade it. They did a remake loosely. I swear I can speak. I promise. With Nick Cannon.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. I didn't see it.
It was like loosely based on it. So they already tried to remake it with Nick Cannon, and it just, I mean, it didn't really go anywhere. But like,
and that's, I think, when we can discuss that kind of stuff later. I think it's cheap when they just take a movie and say we're gonna take this movie and make it a black cast or a black lead and make the same movie. I think that's just trying to be like exploitive and not actually address the situation of diversity in casting, because there's unique stories that can be told from that perspective and things like that. But
Don't Cost a Thing was the name of the Nick Cannon one. It was made in 2003, and it got a whopping 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. It did even worse, this one.
And listen, I think anything above a 6.5 on IMDb is watchable to me, usually, most of the time.
It's got a 5.2.
Well, the original got like a 6.7 or 8 or something. So yeah, that's my take. Like I said, we'll let Hannah kind of go last, because she'll definitely have a different kind of take. She's got obviously more problems that she sees than we do.
What are we doing now?
Don't say.
Wrapping it up. Can it be made?
It can be made. Like you said, it needs to just change some of the cast around, get a little bit more diversity in there. So yeah, I think it can be made. Like I said, I just got caught up in the movie, watching it. I forgot actually a lot of the stuff in it. I can talk too sometimes. I actually forgot a lot of the stuff in it whenever I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. The end got me. Like I said, it can be made. It's good for an 80s movie.
With that caveat.
Yeah, throw that in there just to make sure. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I will never watch it again.
Yeah, I think, well... It's funny. Yeah, it's but we talk about, that's what happens with a lot of these. And that's the other part of asking if the movies hold up, and we didn't really touch on this, and we have in the past, and we talked about the acting. I thought Patrick Dempsey was really, really strong. You can see why he's still a great actor today, because he had some really great moments, and he played the arc really well, I thought. And I loved the movie, and I watched it, but it didn't hold up for me as something like you just said that I would watch over and over again. Where like, I think in a couple of years I could watch Romancing the Stone again. I watch Failure to Launch again. Like, those were a little more timeless for me than this. But also I think it's because our age now, we are not in high school anymore. And when we originally watched it, we were much closer to that age. And so now we watch it and we go, it's not my problem anymore.
I'd actually never watched this movie all the way through until now either.
Really?
Yeah, I'd seen it on like TV, but
well, like you were saying, when we watched it, we were that age, and we kind of, just understood it, and it connected with us. because of what we were going through high school or whatever it was. And I think that was the point then that I liked it. Now I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
Because we relate with the parents much more than the kids.
So now I understand that part of it. But yeah, no, it was, it's nice to pick up, pull out off the shelf and watch. But yeah, it's not something I'd go back to. Like you said, Romance in the Stone, I would. Fairy to Launch, love anything with McConaughey in it. I'll watch. Mm-hmm. I'll watch anytime. Still, Fool's Gold, my favorite. Anyway, yeah. Other than that, Patrick Dempsey was strong. Cindy. What is Peterson?
Yeah, Amanda Peterson.
She had some good moments, but she kind of faded into the background a lot for me. Her friends.
Well, listen, she was 15, 16 when she made this. So for and she'd been around. Like I saw that she was in like some episodes of Silver Spoons and things. It's sad, and I think we have to discuss one little kind of thing that I hate for it to be a blurb, but it is going to be a blurb because we're kind of running short of our time. But apparently, this movie, there's some things that happened to her on this movie that sent her down the path that ended up where she died of a drug overdose, 30 years later, 25 years later, or whatever. That's kind of sad. It's almost another reason why learning that after watching it, it's like you don't want to watch a train wreck. Rob jokes a lot about us ruining movies for him, but that really does
I think sometimes y'all are actually trying to ruin them.
No. Because again, we said that there's nothing wrong.
We haven't got to where Hannah tells us we're all pieces of shit section of the show.
But we're getting there. We're about to get there, so hold tight.
We haven't got there yet. Y'all haven't,
ruining them.
See, I still have smile, but
I did not know that.
Guarantee it'll be Frown Town soon.
That things happen. I did not know that things happened to her on this, causing her to go down that.
Her family didn't reveal it until after her death.
Wow. Yeah. See, that changes.
It does, and it changes the dynamic too. And I think the other part of the reason why you enjoy watching it then is because I was so much closer to Amanda Peterson's age, so I could kind of have that little crush on her. And this, when you're watching it, as a 40-year-old guy, you can't.
You're kind of Rocky.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't be Rocky. Exactly.
And then somebody tells you, "Hey, she's 15 when she made this movie." I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, sorry.
Can't even. Not even. Nothing.
Well, it's like
the friends were probably only
17 during the first season of that 70s show. 17? Yeah. Keira Knightley was 17 when they made the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow. See that? Yeah, that's young.
Rob, any final thoughts from you before we let Hannah ruin our lives?
That's what I'm here for every week. I mean, this movie was about an hour too long, but it's.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, but I felt like they broke up really like 30 minutes in or whatever, and they seemed like it got to that really fast.
I mean,
so yeah,
really is contradiction because money did kind of buy love. If you think about it, at the end, it all started with a dude decided to not buy a telescope, and I mean, money sometimes can buy you love.
Oh, what?
In a roundabout
way. It can buy companionship. Maybe.
Well, I'm not always going that way, Terry.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you can spend the money. There's a lot of men out there with money who are married or with women that are only there for the money, and then eventually they do fall in love with them. So it
isn't that happen. Stockholm syndrome?
Oh, Lord Jesus!
Oh. Rob giving a little bit of aggressiveness with us today.
Regardless of the way I talk, I'm very well read. And regardless of the way, only because I have a trade school education, I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
I don't think you're dumb at all. I don't know why you think that.
I'm speaking to the collective people out in the internet world.
Nobody here thinks you're dumb.
People in the internet world.
Maybe Matthew.
No, I don't.
Well, I just want him to follow some guidance.
Yeah. Never going to happen.
Oh, don't say you.
Well, it's just because
we are, just so everybody knows because everybody wants to get to know. So we'll probably do some stuff where you guys get to know us a little bit.
Matthew 2 minutes.
We are gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We are gonna interview Matthew.
Yeah.
And put it up as a special little 15-minute podcast so everybody can get to know our intern.
Episode.
You need a tutor, Matthew. That's what you need.
Yes.
Well, he can. Don't be like me. Just be yourself.
We can open
be
up.
Assertive.
We can open up. We can basically have a Matthew therapy session in a podcast.
Oh, we talk about everything that we know.
You for him.
I gotta tell a story.
Oh boy, here we go.
Not yet. Wait, save it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Let's go. Let's.
I got a pee, so let's hurry this.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. And Hannah, it's her movie.
I lasted a whole hour this time, so hey.
Her week. Kudos. She's gonna bring us home.
You just kudos yourself.
I did.
She's gonna.
I liked it.
She's gonna bring us home.
Good.
And we're all gonna go and donate some money to some cause to feel better.
I'm not donating money to anybody's cause.
No, charity stuff.
I give to the ASPCA every month. That's what I do.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. St. Jude's is mine.
So yeah, I mean, obvious prostitution issues here. You know, starting out just even with the proposed title before it got changed, and even to the changed title all the way through the premise of it, it's kind of rocky at best, but like it's suspension of disbelief. It's an 80s movie. They tried it again in 2003. Like, it's a premise. It's problematic, but it's not so problematic that like we can't be like, all right, yeah, they're trying to make fun of it to prove a point, to say like, this is what you shouldn't do, kind of thing. So, I mean, in that sense, yeah, okay. There was some lines, like, go back where you came from, Jose, that just made my spine chill just a little bit. There were some lines about slut shaming in there that I think you really they can't be in there for this day and age. There was some stuff about fat phobia and body shaming and stuff like that was also in there that I think you have to be really careful of, especially in this day and age. But I mean, you know, if you use it as a cautionary tale, you make some edits to it, and you're careful and respectful about like how you're phrasing things and what your dialogue is, and you add that diversity in, yeah, I think you can make it again. It's just, how many times are you going to make the same iteration of this movie before it? Because I mean, they tried it in 2003 and it tanked. You know what I mean? Like, it's how many times can you make this iteration of it? And that for me is like, all right, how many times can we do this before it's like, all right, enough, I'm over it.
Which, you know, interesting, because you and I talked about a little bit about, we keep talking about how these things keep going over and over, and it's that you say that, but like every movie so far that we've really seen is the same, in a way, the same movie, or kind of the same plot points. And we say this every week, there's no original materials, just different ways to tell the story. And so they, you know, wouldn't make this one, but maybe something along these lines, I guess.
I'm sure they would. I just, you know, with the way that this particular movie is set up, I think it makes it kind of, you guys are so distracting.
Just keep talking. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You worry about you. Do your thing. Talk. Shh. Go. Thank you.
Fuck.
I'm listening.
I need a gavel to shush him for shushing her.
I've been paying attention this whole time.
Now you're just being hateful.
That's mansplaining.
You are being distracting, Terry. It's from one man to another.
Shit. He's like the class clown that never grew up.
Well, that's all that matters. I have fun. And Jesus loves me.
Any final thoughts to bring us home about the movie?
Not really. I mean, like I said, it's, how many times can you keep making this before the jig is up? I think, you know, to your point, like, something to add?
Nope. Well, you can make it one more time.
One more. Just one. Just one more time.
That's what I said, just one more. That's it.
All right. So let's play your little game here. If you make it one more time, who you casting?
Oh, McConaughey.
To play a teenager.
Yeah, he's McConaughey.
And he's buying Brad Pitt.
That's how we make it progressive. Brad Pitt, and yeah, they're together.
Brad Pitt's playing the cheerleader.
Yes.
So I'm gonna probably put a little different introduction for this segment that I'll record before I put it up. But we talked about this via text about this being the echo chamber. So I'm just gonna real quick. This is what's been bouncing around my head this week.
Oh, geez.
It's not bad. I wish people would just Google stuff before posting it on the internet.
You're asking people to have common sense.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it takes like 30 seconds to see if something is like legit or not, and probably 99% of it's not legit. Just Google it, or just, you know,
most of the time.
Listen, there is no. I'm not taking sides.
No, that's with any. Yeah,
I'm not taking sides. I'm talking about across the spectrum of reality, and that people need to just stop being so damn gullible and just think for yourselves and just stop. Just stop.
That's
Google
too
it.
hard. I need someone with a blue check mark to tell me how to think, Garrett.
I know. I have a blue check mark.
Okay, good enough then.
So I can tell you how to think.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Just throw that out.
Doesn't matter who,
Like
as long as you have one.
It's like your favorite meme of Ralph Wiggum, Rob.
Yeah, everybody thinks they're helping. Everybody's like, I'm helping. Yeah, I'm a researcher.
Exactly. That's my thing. That's it. That's my quick thing of bouncing around in my head this week of like, I've seen some people post stuff about weather and things like that. I'm just like, and electric companies and all that. And I'm just like, just a quick little Google search. A quick little Google search would show you that that's not really true. So that's it. All right.
I like to say, most people in the world are not on Twitter. So the more you just yell into whatever side you are on your Twitter, I happen to maybe do a little Twitter stalking from an anonymous account. And I'm like, most people in this country and in the world are not on here to hear you chastising them. And you're just chastising people to each other. You know, you're not like in a room going, hey man, that was pretty shitty. Oh yeah. What was shitty about it? Wait a minute. I got to retweet this.
And literally, when's the last time anybody read something on the internet and went, oh, that's a very good point.
I've totally changed my mind.
In 140 characters. Wow. I'm going to change my entire belief system because this guy said it. Yeah, that's my thing of like, you can't change minds that way, but also, you know, there's a huge spread of misinformation and people need to just take a second and breathe and go look something up. Do a little research yourself. I know it's a lot easier to just hit retweet or repost or share.
Maybe just do some jumping jacks.
Yeah. Or maybe just get off social media entirely.
I wonder why I don't do Facebook.
So good on you, man. If I didn't have a business, I wouldn't either.
Man, it made me feel great. I thought, I'm going to miss this. And Dad, I have not missed it one itty bitty bit. I really haven't. Like almost everyone I was like close to interacting with, I have their number, and like I still have my Instagram and stuff, but that's more for fun. You know, I'm not getting serious on Instagram. You watch my Instagram story, you can be like, well, this person.
Which I think that's what we've lost track of, is social media should be for fun. It's like when we originally started this, it was about reconnecting with people we hadn't seen in 20 years, which again, why? I mean, that's half the people we reconnect with.
Some people I've reconnected with has been great. Yeah. We've got to see each other. But for every one good interaction you have with someone you used to know back in the day and catch up with them and actually interact with them on a personal level, for every one of those, there's 100 where you look at something and you're like, why am I friends with this idiot? Well,
the thing is, with me on Facebook and all that, you get friend requests from people you went to school with that you didn't get along with, that you didn't hang out with, and you didn't like, and then they friend you. Why the fuck would I friend you now? You didn't talk to me in high school. You didn't talk to me.
People change, Terry.
No, they don't. People don't change. That's the thing. Don't ever. Boo. That's so.
People can like.
No, people do not change.
I'm a lot different than I used to be.
At the bottom, they don't change. They may.
I think a lot different about things. I think a lot different about things that I used to think about.
You've changed the route that you go about things, but you still the same person. Everybody's the same person.
No, you believe different things is what he's saying. Like we just talked about last week about the opportunity to allow people to grow.
Boy,
I'm not.
You can 100%. Accept things.
Terry's the same person.
I've grown as a person over the years.
You can grow, but at your base core, you're still the same person.
Matthew's the same person because he's 12.
Yeah. So,
Rob, did you have anything to add?
That's what I say.
Did you have anything to add echo chamber wise as far as like anything bouncing around your head? Booties bouncing in your head? Boobs bouncing around your head? Anything?
I do love the female figure in all its glory.
Women are beautiful, beautiful creatures.
And I am very, very into them.
Appreciative of all the women in our lives. Most of the women in our lives. Especially you, Hannah.
Oh, I was going to say, not me.
So Terry said he wants to go last today. So Hannah, what are you bouncing around in your brain?
I was going to talk about woke Northerners shitting on Texas and Louisiana for the cold, but I think we've kind of had enough negativity for the week. I actually had a pretty big win. My dog has been a raucous asshole this week.
Dang.
And my sweet friend, I basically texted her one day and was like, this motherfucker. And she went, I'm on my way. So if you have, or if you're lucky enough to have, or you are willing to be that friend that comes over and saves your friend's mental health from their horrid animals, kudos to you. Georgia, you're my savior. Thank you so much for this week.
Before you go, Terry, I just want to say that I will be that person for any of you in this room to save your mental health if you need that. I'm there for everybody in this room except for Matthew.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Terry.
We're gonna get in trouble for bullying because of Matthew.
But at least it's in person.
Yeah.
It's not cyberbullying.
That's it. So
We're old school.
I don't even know how to cyberbully.
boy. Just don't stick him in the trash can. That's my only
upside down?
Oh, we have a locker you can fit into.
Maybe you should leave early, Hannah.
You guys are the worst.
Okay.
Leave early.
All right. So I'm gonna end with a story.
Okay.
Instead of duty time
So
time.
I asked if I could tell this, and he said yes. So I'm gonna say you said I could do it, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. So
I'm gonna get my gavel ready.
no.
he has
This is a
permission.
story. You can't stop
you have
this
to wait
story.
till the end.
This is a story.
Wait till the end.
So I got a buddy who works in the same profession I do, and
Wait, hang on, really quick. Am I going to get grossed out?
You might. Anyway, so there's he works in the same profession I do, and they had well, go ahead. I mean, might as well say it, everybody. I say that. There was a call that they got, and there was someone who was very sick that they needed to get to in a hurry. Well, a friend of mine left the station. He had just drank some coffee and smoked a cigarette, and he was good to go until he got in the truck and started heading that way and started having shit pains. As he's going to this call, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. He's starting to have the shit bumps come up on your arm. You start to have them. He's starting to pour sweat. He's like, I'm going to finish. I'm going to get through with this call. I'm going to hold it. You know, he's clothespinning his asshole shut, just trying to get through it. And he gets in the room, and the guy's working on his partner's working on the patient, and he lets go and shits his pants completely into his shoes, down the back of his pants, his underwear. It is done. After he gets done, he's like, hey, listen, I can't, I gotta go. So he goes to the bathroom, and while he's in the bathroom, he's getting his clothes off, trying to assess the damage. And he takes his shirt and he pulls it off over his head and everything. And he's like, oh my God, it's everywhere. So he finally gets down to a shirt that he has. He still has his pants stuff, cleans up best he can. He walks out to his partner to take the patient. They get going. And as they're leaving, his partner looks at him and said, hey man, what's that brown streak on the top of your head? He went, what? He goes, there's something on your head. He touched it and he went, it was just a mohawk of shit from the shirt that he pulled over his head. He said, I didn't even know it was fucking there. He said, I could smell shit, but who knew where it came from? So he's like... So he said, oh, fuck. He goes and he tries. They have to take the patient. So he's trying to get it off best he can. They get to the hospital. He walks in. They drop off. And he looks at his partner and says, we're leaving fucking right now. Whatever you got to do, I'll leave your ass here. I don't give a shit. I'm leaving. The guy was like, okay. So they leave. But that's my good buddy shit his pants story.
And now you're telling it.
And now we're like, was it really his good buddy? Everybody here is going to think it was Terry. He was just
me. No, I've seen my friend before, but this ain't my story.
So Terry, take us home with what we are going to review.
Next podcast, we are going to be doing The Princess Bride. One of my favorites from when I was little. Not that little, but when I was younger. It was a great movie. Loved it. And I want everybody to enjoy it. Look it through. Robin will probably hang himself halfway through it. But
no, why would I? I've never seen it.
Was he? I don't know.
He likes Andre the Giant.
Oh, yeah, he's in it. You're good.
I like Carrie Yules too, and Robin Wright.
All right, then you should be good. I didn't know if the story. I didn't know if that would be too.
I love
that was great.
Stories of like swords and make believe.
Yeah, it's sort of like that.
How come you've never seen it all the way through then?
I don't know. I had shit to do, man. I don't have an excuse or a reason. I just really don't.
I was just curious why.
You avoided it or something.
No, I mean, because I like The Hobbit and shit like that.
You did watch those, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
I love them movies.
Oh, this is much shorter.
Yeah, this is way shorter.
This is like,
but it's a comedy, love story, and it's about true love, marriage.
I have to watch it with my butt cheeks clenched over how like we're gonna like say it's the devil next week because there was a short person in it. I don't think
so. Maybe
it's a fantasy movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's complete fantasy. There's nothing that's meant to mimic real life really in any way, shape, or form, except for maybe like the relationships.
So you can tell like elves to go back to your woods.
Yeah,
you can do that. Cool. I can be like, go back to your woods, elves.
Yeah.
There's
no elves here in my dwarf kingdom.
Yeah.
With my
you can do that.
Get out of my cave.
There is
go back to your
cruelty because he does put the Rouse on the fucking fire pit but you know.
Okay, look, we're gonna save this for next week.
No animals will probably harm
We're gonna
in the
go
making
through
of
it.
this
It's
film.
gonna be great. Hope everyone joins us for this. It's gonna be a good one. And thank y'all for being here today. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We're out.
We out.
Bye, Hallmark Twins.
Oh, thankful.
Damn it, my Bitcoin dropped $20.